help വേണമോ?
So I'll say the first one, right?
Look, let Patty introduce.
She's happy.
Yeah.
Hi viewers, I am Bhavani from Rishi's Aapki Rasoi. Now Rishi's, I want to explain how I have arrived at this name. This is Riti, my granddaughter, and this is Shiv, my grandson.
Happy
And
Halloween.
I have just started only their name, Ri and She. So Rishi's. So now introducing Kriti, I would like to say that she is an innovative girl, very very expert in baking, and she tries new recipes every day. She is just in the 10th grade, but she used to help me when she was just 10 years old. And this is Shiv, and he is a very good helper in whatever his sister does. And he is a very great guitar player, a tennis player, and a chess player. So I just want to introduce, because right now I am in US and I wanted to introduce these kids, and now I'll ask Riti to take it over. She is going to bake something for you. Over to Riti.
Thank you, Patty. So, hi viewers. I'm Riti. I'm Patty's granddaughter. So today we are baking these pumpkin cheesecake swirl muffins. They're a very good recipe for fall and Halloween. So if I know in many countries they don't always celebrate Halloween, but fall is a very prominent season in Michigan where we live, so I thought it'd be a really good recipe to try. So here are all the ingredients we're using, and so we're using all-purpose flour. To be exact, we're using about 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour right here, and then about half a cup of brown sugar, and let me see, 1 cup of granulated sugar, and about 15 ounces of pumpkin puree. This can also be pumpkin pie. It'll come in a can. This is sometimes hard to come by, but in the US it's very common, so it should be in your local grocery store if you're ever looking for it. About half a cup of vegetable oil right here, and this cream cheese and 1 large egg yolk is for our topping that we'll do at the very end, so don't worry about this yet, but you'll need about 8 ounces of cream cheese and 1 large egg yolk, as well as 1/4 cup of granulated white sugar. You're also going to need baking soda. We'll measure that out in the video, so don't worry about the measurements right now. Pumpkin pie spice. You can also make your own pumpkin pie spice or replace it with cinnamon or cardamom, whichever spice you like the most. Just make sure you really have those spices because it's going to make you feel so warm during fall. And then you also have vanilla extract and some ghee or some oil to line your cupcake tray with to make the muffins. All right. And of course, we also have 2 large eggs for the actual muffin mixture. Okay, so now let's start by mixing all the dry ingredients together. So Shiv, will you help me out here?
Okay.
We need to, in a large bowl or in a medium-sized bowl, whisk flour. So let's put the flour in.
Okay, the whisk flour.
Let's put the flour in. There you go. That's all-purpose flour, also known as maida. So if you are Indian, use maida. And then you also want to mix pumpkin spice. That's that spice I was talking about. And like I said, we didn't have to worry about the measurement now, but now let's worry about it. So we want 1 tablespoon of pumpkin spice. I actually think it's always a good thing to put a little bit extra pumpkin spice in there, because the reason for that is because it's going to make it so flavorful and not bland. You don't want the muffins to be bland. You want them to taste really good. So I'm just going to add, this is a very hard shaker, so kind of keep tapping that shaker until you get enough of that pumpkin spice mix. Sometimes it goes into the bowl, that is okay. Baking's all about having fun and making mistakes, so don't worry about it there you go. Sometimes you might have to shake it a little and get a little bit more out. All right, let's pour that in. Maybe a little bit more pumpkin spice in there. Yes, you can absolutely mix it.
Thank you.
That's my brother. sometimes it gets stuck. So just be careful with your pumpkin pie spice and shake it up sometimes. There you go. There we go. That looks like a good amount. So now that we've got all that pumpkin pie spice in there, we want to now add another one of our dry ingredients, which is our baking soda. So baking soda is going to help make sure that it bakes in the oven. So we want 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Now teaspoons, you can also kind of use a spoon if you don't have the actual measurements for it. But I do recommend eventually getting like some sort of teaspoon or tablespoon.
Like something like this. Like this is the teaspoon part. You want to, like, Rithi recommends getting something like that.
So
She'll be putting the teaspoon in.
Teaspoon of baking soda. So now that we've got a teaspoon of baking soda, the last thing we need to add is sugar. So sugar. So we have sugar here. So we're gonna add in the granulated sugar, and then our 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar as well. There you go. So that is all of our
Dry ingredients.
Yep. Bati, wait, we messed up. We weren't supposed to add the sugar yet. That's why I was looking at the recipe. Okay, but you're supposed to mix together the dry ingredients, so let's do that. Shiv, do you want to mix?
Sure. Now mix into a dry mixture, which is making all that like noise. And then you want to like break down all the clumps. I think that's gonna be right.
Yep. And in this bowl, we can whisk together. So now we're gonna start adding in the pumpkin puree. So that's gonna have we're gonna also add in our 2 eggs. So now we're getting into the more wet mixture. So I'm gonna use this bowl. Hopefully it goes okay and we don't spill everywhere, but we'll try. So we have vanilla extract as well. Oh, be careful, Shiv. So we have vanilla extract, and for vanilla extract we want, let's see, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. So let's add that into the pumpkin puree mixture. So 1 tablespoon. That's like that.
It looks good.
Yeah. And vanilla extract will help to make it very flavorful. It's just another thing that helps boost the flavor of your mixture. And we also want vegetable oil, eggs, and then we already put in the sugar in, so that's okay. But we also want vegetable oil, so we have our vegetable oil here. I'm just going to put that in as well. And then we want our eggs. So I'm actually going to add this in first because our bowl is kind of small. So I'm going to add this into our dry mixture very slowly. Shiv, can you scrape this for me while I hold the bowl?
It's so satisfying.
There we go. Make sure to get all the sides. Yep, here, I got it. So when we're doing this, make sure you're getting every single bit of the pumpkin puree because that's going to give it all the pumpkin spice flavor that we look for. And then you also are going to want to add in, so first before we add the eggs, I'm going to beat this up. So let's head over to the mixing station. So you want to beat this up very well because that's going to give you a nice clean batter. So I'm just beating this up with the flour.
And this might get a little messy, but that's okay, you can clean it up.
Make sure to get all the sides because we want the batter to have all the good flour in there. Look at that color.
It looks so good. So we picked this bowl so it wouldn't
So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my assistant assistant Shiv to go grab the eggs. So Shiv, can you go grab the eggs for me?
Okay.
So we have 2 large eggs here, so just any eggs of your choice, but we're gonna use 2 large eggs and just put them in. The reason why I'm doing this is because you do not want to add everything too soon, especially the eggs. You want them to be beaten really nicely because they're gonna be what makes the muffins lift up really good. So just beat that in really nicely. I'm trying to get all the edges into the mixture.
You might want to get that.
Yeah, a lot on just 1 second. Alright. And definitely try to use an electric whisk instead of a hand whisk. It will go a lot faster for you and for everyone involved.
And it will take
And you want to
less
make
time.
sure this is a really well beaten mixture like this because you don't want to have any lumps in your cake. Alright, look at that. Just take a look at that.
So now we are going to add the sugar, but before that we have to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract.
And right now we're making what we call the cream cheese topping on top for the swirl we see when we make the muffins.
And
So I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract or vanilla essence, whatever you want to call it.
And this is the cream cheese and the egg yolk.
So remember when I said this is 8 ounces of cream cheese and 1 egg yolk, not the whole egg, just the egg yolk. I'm going to go around you and I'm going to grab this sugar, the 1/4 cup of sugar we talked about before. So now we're going to head back over to the mixing station that we talked about over here. Shiv, you don't need to add that. Okay. And I'm going to mix this up. There we go.
Look at that batter.
And the cream cheese should be sweet after you do this because you've added sugar and vanilla, and it will bake as well with the pumpkin muffins. So don't worry about that.
And this bit might get a little messy, but that's okay.
And do not worry, we will leave a link to the recipe online in the description box below. So don't worry about not knowing all the ingredient measurements. Make sure to mix everything thoroughly so it's well combined. All right.
ഞാൻ എടുത്തിരിക്കാം.
All right, I'm going to fill this up.
Is it good?
Very nice.
Okay, so now that our muffins have baked for about 18 minutes, it could be 20 depending on your oven, we're going to put them on a coaster, just like that, and look how beautiful they are. Isn't it gorgeous?
அது கட்டாய் பூசு சரி.
All right. Right. And now make sure to off your oven so it cools down. So I'm just going to cancel it and let it cool. And now I'm going to take all these and plate them, and you're going to see the final product. All right, Tata, cut. So I'm just going to wait until these cool like this. Oh, it's hot. Farting.
You know what?
Ta-da! These are the final muffins we made today, our pumpkin cheesecake swirl muffins. I hope you all have an amazing fall and Halloween and enjoy eating these muffins on a cold and spooky winter morning or fall morning. And there you go.
Hi viewers, I hope you would have enjoyed this recipe and try it, and please come back to us with your expert comments, which will be really appreciated. And this is Rishi's Aapki Rasoi.
Make sure
Thank you.
Make sure